Hollywood, the 1940s, the land of sunshine and stardust. Aspiring starlets with ambition burning bright in their eyes flocked to this city, hoping for their chance at fame. But beneath the glitz and glamour, a darkness lurked. The streets buzzed with energy, a symphony of car horns and the chatter of dreamers. Nightclubs pulsed with the rhythm of the latest swing tunes, and movie theaters promised escape into worlds of wonder. But behind the silver screen, a different story often unfolded. One of broken dreams, shattered illusions, and for one young woman, a tragic and untimely end. Born in Boston in 1924, Elizabeth Short, nicknamed Betty by loved ones, had a difficult childhood. Despite the hardships, Elizabeth found solace in the silver screen, escaping into the world of movies whenever she could.
As a teenager, I moved to Florida to live with my mother, my sights set on a brighter future. I dreamed of becoming an actress, of captivating audiences with my beauty and talent.
In 1946, Elizabeth set her sights on Hollywood, the epicenter of the movie industry. She packed her bags, boarded a bus, and headed west, her heart filled with hope and her head brimming with dreams.
Full of life, with a smile that could light up a room, I navigated the bustling streets of Hollywood, my eyes wide with wonder and ambition. But behind my dazzling smile lay a vulnerability, a naivete that would ultimately make me a target in a city that could chew up dreamers and spit them out.
Elizabeth's early days in Hollywood were a mix of excitement and disillusionment. She found work as a waitress, her days spent serving coffee and dreams to aspiring actors and jaded industry veterans.
I longed for the spotlight, for the chance to showcase my talent and escape the drudgery of my daily grind. But Hollywood proved to be a fickle mistress, and rejection after rejection chipped away at my confidence.
She attended screen tests, went on dates with aspiring producers, and clung to the hope that her big break was just around the corner. But as time went on, Elizabeth's life began to unravel.
The City of Angels, once a beacon of hope, was rapidly becoming my prison. I struggled to make rent, bounced from one temporary residence to another, and relied on the kindness of strangers who were often more interested in exploiting my beauty than offering genuine help.
Hollywood in the 1940s was a place of stark contrasts. While the studios churned out glamorous musicals and wartime romances, a darker reality played out beyond the studio gates. The casting couch, a term whispered in hushed tones, was an open secret, a predatory undercurrent in the pursuit of fame. Young women, eager for their chance in the spotlight, were often pressured into compromising situations, their vulnerability preyed upon by those who held the keys to the kingdom of Hollywood. The allure of Hollywood attracted all sorts, some genuine in their aspirations, others harboring more sinister intentions. Among the hopefuls and the jaded, the dreamers and the schemers, Elizabeth struggled to discern friend from foe. As weeks turned into months, Elizabeth's initial optimism began to wane.
Money, always a scarce commodity for me, dwindled with each passing day.
The glamour of the silver screen seemed a million miles away as she poured coffee, served meals, or sold trinkets to tourists, her own dreams tucked away like a faded photograph in the back of her mind.
The instability wore on me, amplifying my loneliness and sense of isolation.
Despite the hardships, Elizabeth clung to the hope of a brighter future. She wrote letters home, painting a rosy picture of her life in Hollywood, assuring her family that success was just around the corner.
I couldn't bear to disappoint them, to shatter the illusion I had so carefully constructed.
To escape the harsh realities of her situation, Elizabeth sought solace in the nightlife that pulsed through Hollywood's veins. It was in these dimly lit establishments that Elizabeth crossed paths with a cast of characters who would later become persons of interest in the investigation surrounding her disappearance.
I was seen with various men during this period, their faces fading into the background noise of my life, their names and intentions lost to the haze of time.
Others lingered longer, their motives shrouded in mystery, their connection to Elizabeth's fate a tangled thread in the tapestry of her final days.
The line between ambition and desperation blurred, and I found myself caught in a web of my own making, unsure of who to trust, where to turn, or how to escape the downward spiral that was consuming my life.
The once vibrant young woman who had arrived in Los Angeles with a suitcase full of dreams was slowly fading away.
The days leading up to my disappearance were a blur of fleeting encounters, missed connections, and a growing sense of unease that foreshadowed the tragedy that was about to unfold.
In early January 1947, Elizabeth Short vanished.
At first, my absence went unnoticed, another face lost in the crowd, another dreamer swallowed by the city's indifference.
Her meager belongings, a few clothes, some photographs, remnants of a life perpetually on the move, were left behind in the last rented room she called home.
Days turned into weeks, and still there was no sign of me.
A knot of worry began to tighten in their chests, a sense of dread that something was terribly wrong. The City of Angels, once a beacon of hope, had now become a breeding ground for fear its dark underbelly exposed in the harsh glare of a tragedy that would soon capture the attention of the nation. January 15th, 1947. A chill hung in the air, the sun struggling to pierce through the winter haze that blanketed Los Angeles. A young mother, Betty Bersinger, strolled down the sidewalk, her 3-year-old daughter skipping ahead, oblivious to the darkness that lay just beyond the manicured lawns and neatly trimmed hedges. Curiosity piqued. She moved closer, her daughter trailing behind, her gaze drawn to the object that lay half hidden in the overgrown lot. It was a body, a woman's body, severed at the waist, its pale flesh stark against the winter-browned grass. Screaming for help, Betty scooped up her daughter and ran towards a nearby house, her cries shattering the morning calm. The discovery sent shockwaves through the neighborhood, rippling outward, reaching the LAPD, its echo reverberating through the halls of power. News of the gruesome discovery spread like wildfire, igniting a media frenzy that quickly engulfed the city. The victim, a young woman with striking dark hair and piercing blue eyes, lay sprawled on the grass, her body mutilated beyond recognition. Her face, once radiant with life, was now frozen in a grotesque grin, a chilling testament to the brutality she had endured. The press, hungry for a story, quickly dubbed her the Black Dahlia, a moniker both sensational and tragic. The details of the murder, as they slowly emerged, were as shocking as they were baffling. As the city grappled with the enormity of the crime, the image of the Black Dahlia, forever young, forever beautiful, forever frozen in her macabre tableau, became seared into the public consciousness. The search for her killer had begun, a desperate race against time to bring a monster to justice and to restore a sense of security to a city shaken to its core. The investigation into the Black Dahlia murder was spearheaded by the Los Angeles Police Department, their resources stretched thin by a post-war surge in crime and a public hungry for answers. Detectives, hardened by years of dealing with the city's underbelly, found themselves confronted with a case unlike any they had encountered before, a puzzle box of gruesome clues and dead ends. The press, fueled by the insatiable public appetite for details, hounded the police for updates, their relentless pursuit of a story often hindering the investigation. Leads poured in, a deluge of tips, rumors, and wild accusations, each one meticulously followed, only to evaporate into the ether, leaving the detectives no closer to uncovering the truth. The Black Dahlia's true identity, initially a mystery, was soon revealed to be Elizabeth Short, a name that had once held so much promise, now forever linked to a tragedy that defied comprehension. As detectives delved into her past, they uncovered a web of fleeting connections, broken dreams, and a cast of characters who had crossed paths with Elizabeth in the final weeks of her life. Each encounter, each relationship, became a piece in the puzzle, a potential clue to unraveling the mystery of her demise. But as days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, the trail grew colder, the whispers of suspicion fading into the shadows, leaving behind a chilling question. Could the Black Dahlia's killer vanish into thin air, their secret buried with Elizabeth Short in the cold, hard ground? The Black Dahlia case, with its potent mix of Hollywood glamour, gruesome violence, and unsolved mystery, cast a long shadow over Los Angeles. The city, once a beacon of hope and opportunity, now seemed vulnerable, its dark underbelly exposed for all to see. Fear permeated the air, a palpable tension that gripped the city's inhabitants. Women, once carefree in their pursuit of dreams, now looked over their shoulders, their eyes scanning dark alleys and shadowed doorways, their sense of security shattered. Parents kept a tighter grip on their children, their laughter now tinged with anxiety, their games played closer to home, the specter of the Black Dahlia lurking in the back of their minds. The case became a morbid fascination, a topic of hushed conversations in coffee shops and beauty parlors, a source of endless speculation and dread. Theories abounded, each more outlandish than the last, fueled by rumor, innuendo, and the insatiable hunger for answers. But the truth, like the killer themselves, remained elusive, a phantom menace that continued to haunt the city's dreams. The Black Dahlia case, a wound that refused to heal, served as a chilling reminder that even in the city of angels, darkness could triumph, leaving an indelible mark on the soul of a city and its people. The Black Dahlia case sent shockwaves through Los Angeles, a city accustomed to its share of scandals and tragedies. This wasn't a story confined to the gossip columns or whispered about in hushed tones at Hollywood parties. This was a gruesome murder that had invaded the homes and minds of everyday citizens. The LAPD, facing immense pressure, poured resources into the investigation. Detectives worked around the clock, chasing down every lead, their every move scrutinized by a public hungry for justice. The media, sensing a story that would captivate the nation, descended upon Los Angeles like vultures. The initial investigation into Elizabeth Short's murder was a chaotic whirlwind of activity. The LAPD, accustomed to dealing with the city's underbelly, found themselves overwhelmed by the sheer volume of leads, tips, and false confessions that poured in. It seemed as though everyone had a story to tell, a theory to share, a connection to Elizabeth Short, however tenuous. Detectives, their faces etched with fatigue and frustration, meticulously followed every lead, however far-fetched. They interviewed countless witnesses, from Hollywood hopefuls to shady nightclub owners, from jealous lovers to opportunistic con men. Each conversation, each encounter, was a potential piece of the puzzle, a chance to uncover a clue that would lead them to Elizabeth's killer. The gruesome nature of the crime scene, the meticulous posing of the body, the surgical precision of the mutilation, all pointed towards a killer with a macabre understanding of human anatomy. Forensic experts meticulously combed through the scene, searching for any trace of the killer, any fiber, hair, or footprint that might break the case wide open. But as days turned into weeks, the initial flurry of activity began to wane. The leads dried up, the tips proved fruitless, and the false confessions, fueled by a desire for notoriety or a desperate attempt to escape their own troubled lives, crumbled under scrutiny. The investigation, once a raging inferno of activity, slowly dwindled into a smoldering ember, the hope of finding Elizabeth's killer fading with each passing day. The Black Dahlia case became a breeding ground for speculation and rumor, a fertile landscape for conspiracy theories to take root and flourish. Everyone had an opinion, a theory, a suspect in mind. The more outlandish the claim, the more it seemed to resonate with a public hungry for answers, desperate to make sense of a crime that defied logic and reason. The LAPD, inundated with a deluge of false leads and red herrings, found themselves chasing shadows, their investigation hampered by the very public it was meant to serve. Every crank call, every fabricated story, every self-proclaimed witness with an axe to grind or a score to settle diverted precious time and resources away from pursuing legitimate leads. The media, eager to capitalize on the public's insatiable appetite for details, often published sensationalized accounts of the investigation, further muddying the waters and hindering our efforts. Rumors spread like wildfire, fueled by innuendo and speculation, casting a wide net of suspicion over Hollywood and beyond. The investigation, once a beacon of hope for Elizabeth Short's family and a city desperate for answers, was becoming bogged down in a quagmire of misinformation, speculation, and dead ends. The path to justice, once seemingly clear, was now obscured by a fog of uncertainty, the trail growing colder with each passing day. As weeks turned into months, and the Black Dahlia case remained unsolved, a sense of unease settled over Los Angeles. The initial shock and horror had given way to a gnawing sense of doubt and disillusionment. Could it be that such a brutal crime, committed in the heart of the city, would go unpunished? The LAPD, despite their tireless efforts, faced mounting criticism. The public, once confident that the police would swiftly bring Elizabeth Short's killer to justice, began to question their competence, their methods, their commitment to solving the case. The once unwavering trust in law enforcement was slowly eroding, replaced by a growing sense of cynicism and distrust. The media, too, shifted its focus, their narratives evolving from tales of a city united in grief and outrage to stories of a justice system failing a young woman brutally slain. The Black Dahlia case had become a symbol of a city grappling with its own demons, a stark reminder that even in the land of sunshine and stardom, darkness could prevail. The shadow of doubt, once a faint whisper, now loomed large over Los Angeles, casting a pall over the city's once bright facade. The Black Dahlia case, a tragedy that had gripped the nation, was becoming a chilling reminder that justice, like truth, was often elusive, a phantom forever out of reach. The Black Dahlia case wasn't merely a crime, it was a media spectacle. Newspapers across the country seized upon the gruesome details. The case had all the elements of a Hollywood thriller, a beautiful young victim, a brutal and mysterious murder. The media, with its insatiable appetite for sensationalism, understood the power of a story well told. They painted Elizabeth Short as a figure both alluring and tragic. The more the media reported on the case, the more the lines between fact and fiction blurred. Elizabeth Short became a character in a macabre drama. Elizabeth Short found a different kind of fame, a posthumous notoriety that was both captivating and cruel. The media's portrayal of Elizabeth Short, fueled by speculation and innuendo, transformed her into a mythical figure, a symbol of Hollywood's dark underbelly. Newspapers ran stories about Elizabeth's past, often inaccurate or taken out of context, to create a narrative that fit their image of her. This portrayal of Elizabeth Short did a disservice to her memory and hindered the investigation. The real Elizabeth Short was lost in the maelstrom of speculation and innuendo. Exploiting a tragedy. The Black Dahlia case, with its potent mix of glamour, violence, and unsolved mystery, proved to be irresistible to Hollywood. Almost immediately, the case inspired a wave of books, films, and television shows, each offering its own interpretation of events. The Black Dahlia, once a real person, became a fictional character, her story told and retold. This exploitation of Elizabeth Short's tragedy captured the public's imagination. The Black Dahlia case continues to resonate with audiences. Behind the myth, there was a real woman named Elizabeth Short, a victim whose life was tragically cut short. Shifting sands of perception. As the years turned into decades and the Black Dahlia case remained unsolved, the public's perception of Elizabeth Short continued to evolve. No longer merely a victim, she became an enigma, a symbol of a bygone era, and a testament to the enduring power of unsolved mysteries. The passage of time, while dimming the memory of the initial shock and horror, also allowed for a more nuanced perspective on the case. The media's portrayal of Elizabeth Short, once accepted as gospel, was increasingly scrutinized. its biases and inaccuracies exposed. With each new generation, there came a fresh wave of interest in the case, a desire to separate fact from fiction, and to understand the real Elizabeth Short, the woman behind the myth. The rise of the internet and the proliferation of true crime podcasts and documentaries breathed new life into the Black Dahlia case, bringing it to the attention of a global audience. Amateur sleuths, armed with information that was once difficult to access, began their own investigations, poring over old case files, analyzing evidence, and proposing new theories. While the Black Dahlia case remains officially unsolved, the pursuit of justice for Elizabeth Short continues. The shifting sands of perception, the reevaluation of evidence, and the unwavering dedication of those determined to uncover the truth offer a glimmer of hope that someday her killer may be unmasked, and her story, finally, can be laid to rest. The Black Dahlia's grip on the public imagination extended far beyond the headlines and newsreels of 1947. The case, with its potent blend of Hollywood glamour, gruesome violence, and unsolved mystery, seeped into the city's storytelling DNA. From gritty crime novels to noir-infused films, the Black Dahlia story found its way onto the page and screen. The case became a blank canvas for creators to project their own interpretations of Hollywood's underbelly. Why, even after all these years, does the Black Dahlia case continue to captivate our collective imagination? What is it about this particular unsolved murder, among so many others, that keeps us glued to documentaries, poring over old case files, and proposing our own theories? Perhaps it's the unsolved nature of the crime itself. The human mind abhors a vacuum, and in the absence of a definitive answer, we fill the void with our own interpretations, our own narratives, our own versions of the truth. The Black Dahlia case, with its lack of a clear motive, its cast of shadowy suspects, and its trail of tantalizing clues that ultimately led nowhere, offers fertile ground for speculation, a puzzle box we can't resist trying to solve. Or maybe it's the way the case speaks to our own anxieties about fame and the price of ambition. Elizabeth Short, the aspiring actress who arrived in Hollywood with stars in her eyes, becomes a tragic symbol of the seductive yet often cruel nature of the entertainment industry, a reminder that not all dreams come true, and some pursuits can lead down dangerous paths. The Black Dahlia case also taps into our fascination with the macabre, our morbid curiosity about the darker side of human nature. The gruesome details of Elizabeth Short's murder, the brutality inflicted upon her young body, both repulse and intrigue us, forcing us to confront the uncomfortable reality that monsters do exist, and sometimes they walk among us undetected. Over 7 decades have passed since Elizabeth Short's life was brutally cut short, her body discarded in a vacant lot. The Black Dahlia case continues to generate headlines and inspire countless theories. Despite tireless efforts, the question remains unanswered. Who killed Elizabeth Short? The case stands as a testament to the limits of justice and the enduring power of a mystery. The pursuit of answers continues, even as time makes justice unlikely. The Black Dahlia case remains a chilling testament to the limitations of justice and the elusive nature of truth. Despite countless hours of investigation, the question remains unanswered. Who killed Elizabeth Short? Time has washed away potential witnesses and eroded crucial evidence. Hollywood's fleeting connections and secrets further complicate the pursuit of truth. The LAPD's investigation was hampered by a lack of sophisticated forensic technology and overwhelming media frenzy. The killer vanished, leaving behind unanswered questions in a city haunted by the Black Dahlia. The enduring mystery of Elizabeth Short's murder continues to fascinate and frustrate. The absence of a definitive answer in the Black Dahlia case has spawned a tangled web of theories and speculation. From seasoned detectives to armchair sleuths, everyone has their own theory. Some focus on individuals with connections to Elizabeth Short. Others delve into Hollywood's underbelly, positing organized crime involvement. The enduring mystery ensures the rumor mill continues to churn. The Black Dahlia case, while officially cold, casts a long shadow that extends far beyond the confines of law enforcement archives and the pages of true crime novels. Elizabeth Short's murder, a brutal act of violence that shocked a nation, serves as a chilling reminder of the fragility of life, the dark undercurrents that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most glamorous cities, and the elusive nature of justice. The case, in many ways, became a symbol of a city grappling with its own demons. Los Angeles, in the post-war era, experienced a surge in crime and a growing sense of unease as it transitioned from the wartime unity to the uncertainties of peacetime. The Black Dahlia case, with its gruesome details and its connection to the underbelly of Hollywood, tapped into those anxieties, exposing the dark side of the American dream and the vulnerability that lay beneath the city's carefully constructed facade. Despite the passage of time, Elizabeth Short's story continues to resonate, her tragic fate serving as a cautionary tale about the perils of ambition, the dark side of fame, and the importance of remembering the human being behind the headlines. The Black Dahlia case, a wound that may never fully heal, stands as a stark reminder that even in the pursuit of justice, some answers may remain forever elusive, leaving behind a legacy of questions, speculation, and a chilling reminder that some crimes, even in the passage of time, refuse to be forgotten. The Black Dahlia case, forever entwined with the history of Hollywood and the annals of true crime, transcends its specific time and place. Elizabeth Short's story, while rooted in the Los Angeles of the 1940s, continues to resonate with a contemporary audience, its themes of ambition, vulnerability, and the dark side of human nature as relevant today as they were decades ago. The case serves as a stark reminder that beneath the veneer of civilization, the capacity for violence and cruelty remains a chilling reality. Elizabeth Short, a young woman with dreams and aspirations, becomes a timeless symbol of the victims of violence. Her story a reminder that even in an age of technological advancements and forensic breakthroughs, some crimes continue to defy easy answers, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and a profound sense of loss. The enduring fascination with the Black Dahlia case speaks to our collective desire to make sense of the senseless, to find order in chaos, and to seek justice for those whose lives have been tragically cut short. While the truth behind Elizabeth Short's murder may remain elusive, the pursuit of answers, the examination of evidence, and the ongoing dialogue surrounding the case ensure that her story will not be forgotten, her memory kept alive not just as a victim, but as a symbol of the enduring quest for justice and the human need to confront the darkness that sometimes engulfs us all.